Happy Homebrew Wednesday number 14 and cheers. Now this is going to be a relatively quick one tonight because it's the innings break in the cricket and I've got a lot to get through, so I've got myself a page of notes here. So I'm going to talk about my first brew day in the weekend on my new brew system, and it was a rerun of the partial mash kit that I brewed with Paul Lowe about a month, just over a month ago, but it was an all grain brew in the bag version. Now this is a kit from the Dunedin Malt House, and it's a 4 kg grain bill made up of 3.6 kg of Maris Otter, which should have been Golden Promise, but the Dunedin Malt House is running pretty low on stocks because of Christmas, which is not ideal. But yeah, 3.6 kg of Maris Otter, which is fairly similar to Golden Promise. 200 grams of light crystal and 200 grams of carapils. 90 grams of hops for a 25 IBU. So that's made up of Pacifica for bittering and Kohatu and Nelson Sauvignon for flavour and aroma. Now, brew day, I ended up with an efficiency of just under 70%, and I had a few issues along the way, so I'm thinking that I can probably get my efficiency up to 70%, which I think is pretty good for brewing a bag. So I had an original gravity of 1.041, and I'll get an approximate ABV of just around 4%. The problems that I had was I started with, because it's new equipment, I haven't had a chance to really work out what my boil off rates were and how much I would lose to grain, how much water I'd lose to grain. So I started with 35 litres of water and had 32 litres left after the mash, and I was supposed to have 28 litres. So I boiled for an extra 45 minutes to allow the pre-boil gravity to get down to I haven't written it down, to get down to the correct gravity. Also discovered that the pot is really big and has a massive wide mouth on it, and it'll be really good for double and triple brews, and it also because it's got such a big mouth, it's got a really high boil off rate, and I was boiling off a litre every, I don't know, it just seemed like about every 15 minutes there was another litre boiled off, and basically the brew house fan didn't cope. So you'll see that in the video that I'm going to show of the brew day soon. In fact, the fan actually started dripping and I had to put a bucket under it, and I was left with half a litre of water that dripped out of the fan. So yeah, next time I brew, I won't be boiling for almost 2 hours, so hopefully I'm not going to get so much of an issue. Other things I took from the brew day was the recirculation systems are great. It's good to be able to chuck your grain in there, press a couple of buttons and go away and leave it for a couple of hours and come back and it's mashed, and all you need to do is pull your bag out and start the boil. I also learned that you shouldn't over tighten your quick disconnects, because they have these O-rings in here, and when I've over tightened it, I'll see if that will focus. When I've over tightened it, stop focusing on me. It's actually taken a chunk out of the O-ring. So when I was trying to recirc, it was sucking some air in, and I couldn't get enough pressure. And it's not really showing up on the camera, but it's just a tiny little gouge out of it, and it's amazing that such a tiny little gouge can have such an impact and not allow you to suck liquid through a pump. So I've learned that. I also learned that don't start brewing at 4 o'clock on a Sunday, because you'll still be going at 11 o'clock at night. That was largely to do with the fact that I had to boil for almost an extra hour, and yeah, so don't brew last thing on a Sunday. And I also learnt that my wort chiller is going to be absolutely useless in my pot, which you're going to see in the video coming up. So I'm going to have to consider getting a counterflow chiller because the elements that I've got in my pot sit up so far, and basically unless I'm doing a double or a triple batch, the water chiller's not even hardly even going to touch the bottom. The chill off, it still took about 25 minutes to chill down to pitching temperature, and which didn't seem too bad considering there was hardly any in there. I was whirlpooling most of the time, which definitely helped. So I'm going to show footage of the brew day now, and thanks for watching today. Like my Facebook page, which I'll put in the down below this video. It's been quite a rush one tonight because, as I said, I've got the second part of the cricket to watch. It's a rain shortened game, so the lunch break's going to be shorter. So cheers, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching.